Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'll give everybody in the waiting room a moment to come in here. Thanks so much for joining.
One second, I just need to adjust the lighting a little bit.
All right, great. One more person is joining. Okay, almost there.
Do you want to admit her or should I?
Yeah, she is joining now. Yep. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's get started. Okay, welcome everyone to our virtual program Spotlight on Graphic Design and Digital Media at Las Positas College. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Liz McWhorter. I'll be your MC tonight. Next slide.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
You're driving, Michael.
I'm driving, guess what, you know? I was drinking, so that's the reason why. Drink and drive doesn't work.
Exactly right. All right, so some housekeeping and tips. You guys are probably used to these kind of rules by now. Anyways, so mute yourself, turn off your video. Note that the session will be recorded. We like to save these presentations for folks to watch in the future if they weren't able to join us in real time. Please let us know who's here if you'd like. You can type your first name and school or city in the chat box. It's always cool to know who's in the room. And if you want to ask any questions, you can type those into the chat as they come to you. You could send them either privately to Liz McWhorter, or you could do it to everyone. And then at the end, we'll also give you some time to unmute yourself and ask in real time if you'd like to do it that way. All right. Hi, Daryl. Daryl, would you want to say where you're from? I'm curious. Yeah, Pleasanton. All right, so you can go ahead and advance there, Michael. All right, so here's a quick agenda. We'll do a welcome and overview with the top 10 reasons to choose LPC, how we've been adapting to COVID-19 SIP. We'll have a faculty welcome and show some student work. We'll have a student and alumni panel and a Q&A. And we will share some upcoming LPC events with you. Next slide. All right, so again, my name is Liz McWhorter. I'm an outreach specialist at Las Positas College, and I represent career technical education programs in the arts and humanities, auto tech, and welding, including graphic design and digital media. And I'm pleased to welcome Michael J. Go ahead and introduce.
Howdy, everybody.
All right.
So, my name is Michael J. I am an instructor in the graphic design digital media department, and let's see, I guess I've been affiliated with the college, let's say several years. That's the nice way to put it. And my background is that I used to be a commercial photographer. So of course, one of the first programs I started teaching was Photoshop. And now I'm basically teaching web design and user interface, user experience, and WordPress. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Great, and if our students and alumni want to say a quick hello, I think Natalia and Arpana are in the room. Just say hi real quick and we'll get to hear more from them later.
Hi, my name is Natalia.
Hi, my name is Arpana. I've been a student in LPC for probably over 3 years now. I took a break since the pandemic, waiting to take some more classes. Hope to catch up with all soon.
Great. We'll hear more from you guys later. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, next slide. And for those that have just entered the room, if you'd like to share who you are, where you're from. It's nice to get a read of the room. Thank you. All right, so the top 10 reasons why students make LPC their first choice. So number one, as you guys could probably imagine, we have a really great higher ed value as a community college, and we have a lot of great scholarships available too. Fortunately, even though we're in times of COVID, the financial aid offerings and deadlines remain the same. We've got small class and lab sizes. Even during these times, for some classes, the ones that are actually hybrid, they're even smaller. I represent auto tech and welding also. And so, for example, classes with labs that have to be in person in part have been cut in half. So there's appropriate social distancing. There are state-of-the-art buildings and equipment. So even though you're not able to access a lot of those right now, we are happy to say that a lot of the software and desktops that you would use for graphic design and digital media, for example, are accessible via Splash Shop, so they're available remotely. We've got industry-aligned curricula and outstanding faculty. We've got advisory boards with members of the community that represent different industries and help us inform those curricula and make sure that they are aligned with what's really happening in the workplace. And you won't have a grad assistant for your teacher. You will have a part-time or full-time faculty that's their primary job, or maybe they also work in the field that they're teaching in too. So that's fantastic. We're a top 10 transfer school in California if you're interested in transferring after being with us. We've got classes for GE, transfer, CTE, retraining, you name it, something for everyone. We've got flexible class scheduling, especially right now. It is really more flexible than it used to be, given that it is mostly online, but we do still offer classes that are in the evenings and on the weekends as well, if you are working or taking care of children during the week. We've got free student support services, many of which have pivoted online, we're happy to say. We've got 30 plus student clubs, and they are actually still active, many of them right now, doing things virtually. And we've got award-winning student publications and a debate team, the Talk Hawks, that are actually still taking home awards right now, participating in virtual conferences and still producing those publications. They're award-winning and very involved and really exciting to be a part of. And then number 10, we've got an exemplary sustainability and safety record. So even in these times, again, like our campus safety folks are still on campus taking care of things, and we are still doing things sustainably, even though there are very few folks on campus right now. All right, next slide.
Oh,
all right,
that's me.
Okay, there he is. Take it away.
Take it away. Okay, so let's go and let's show some of the students' work here. Liz and I have gone through here, and unfortunately, for some reason, I don't have really any notes on this particular student, but this was created. It looks like a combination. Actually, it looks like a Photoshop class. I wasn't involved with this, so I'm not sure. If anybody knows, you can always call it out.
I was going to say one of our other faculty is Peter Kuo, and he's actually on here, but not on here at the same time. So yes, we just have lots of great, beautiful examples of our student work. So Michael will just point out some of the different features to notice, and he's had some of these students, Peter's had some over the years. So yes, just enjoy.
This is Jamie Luz, and you can see the construction is of a cave, but obviously in the shape of, you know, a hand, and then you have a chimpanzee or a monkey down here below at the bottom. And this was created in Illustrator. This one right here, let's go check. I have to go here and look at my notes since we put this into the presentation, and let's see. And it has nothing there. So I'm not sure, but the way it looks like it was constructed in Photoshop again, to where you're using actual, well, this looks like a combination. This could be done in either this was originally a photograph and put in there, and you can see photographs obviously of the background here and how it's blending into the, you would say the foreground or the foliage right here. And Arpana, here's Arpana's work here. She's basically a panelist here, and she was in my Photoshop Advanced class, and this was her final project. And you know, I helped obviously create the lighting here to make sure that everything worked well, but she did all the work in the final creation of everything and art
Would she
directed me.
like to, I was going to say, would she like to say anything about that? Since we have you here, Arpana. Unless she stepped away. Anyways, beautiful piece.
Okay. And, oh, sorry, let's go back here.
I was trying to mute myself, unmute it as time. Anyway, this is Arpana. Sorry, Michael. And I had lots of fun doing this particular piece because we have to actually take the picture of ourselves, which like Michael mentioned that he helped us in a professional photo room, like in a studio, you would say, with all
Oh,
the
that's
lights.
right. I remember this was the
Yes.
final project was a self-portrait.
Yes, you took us in the back room, kind of with all the studio setting, with all the lights coming in, and explained to us the light features, how to have the light coming in from the background, from the foreground, to have the reflection on your image. And of course, we
Essentially
did.
the continuity of basically making sure that when you put it together, that it looked photorealistic versus it looking like a collage instead, or a
Right.
montage.
Right. So we did multiple pictures, and the best picture I took, and then I blended it with some background that I picked up, and then I did some Photoshop, some. So there are majorly lot of images, not just one image involved into this one portrait. So I did have a lot of fun. Thank you, Michael, for helping.
Oh, sure. So this was also done in my class. This is Maria's imagery, and you can see, oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, I can do it that way. And you can see that this is a composite of sorts and trying to be photorealistic at the same time. And I guess you would say the light is emulating down here. I don't know. Can you see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Okay. You can see from this jellyfish, it's emulating down the light essentially and trying to basically be consistent with that. And with what's going on in the background and looking at the shadows there. And this also was done in this particular semester where Ben Ravel basically created this related to his own self-portrait. Okay, so moving on. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, there's Natalia's image right there. So I clustered these together related to the particular class. So that's the reason why you're all together. So Natalia, you have any comments about how you created this?
No, the same as Arpana. I think I used 4 different images in there, and the hardest part is to ground our picture in the image to make it look realistic. But yeah, I think I did a good
Yeah, you
job.
can see basically this is her above it, and of course the lighting looks completely different. It's darkened related to the environment above her versus the glowing of what's going on with the mushroom underneath, and how her tonal qualities, or the quality of basically of the light that's hitting her, is the same coloration. So let's go check my notes on this right now, and let's see. Well, unfortunately, we had some last minute issues, so we start moving things around. So unfortunately, the notes say same as before. So anyway, the story is basically Joanna is the student, and this was constructed using, it looks like Photoshop again, but I could be wrong, but I think it's Photoshop. And it looks like it's more of a constructionist type of look to it, the way it was created. And here's essentially Illustrator here and how this person, who is Oleg. So this was a dark soul stained glass look. I'm sorry, this got moved around. That's from another image here. Okay, so this is basically created in Illustrator, or he sketched this out or sketched it out and then basically translated it in Illustrator into this final image on the right. And you can see that this is a vector base. This is again in Illustrator, how it's vector based and how it's translated to how it looks photorealistic in Illustrator when it's rendered. And this is from Celine Canuto. And this is vector tracing. I'm sure she started eating immediately after she finished with this. Again, done in Illustrator. And this is a creation of patterns here. Let's see what it says here. It's a color theory pattern here. So they were using color theory basically to create complementary colors that would match in the patterning. And here's more of that. And again, additional things done in Illustrator. So I'm sorry I can't basically explain more. It turns out in our last minute shuffle of moving things around, the notes somehow got corrupted or lost in the process. So I apologize. So again, this was done in Illustrator, and you can see that you can have a very, should I say, not totally photographic. It has a sense of being photographic, yet we know it's an illustration here. And this is by, this is basically like a Star Wars type of thing, but they were using the theme of Hopper, that famous shot of, should I say, painting. Was it Andrew Hopper? Let's see, it was Edward Hopper, and trying to mimic that particular style. And this is a, let's see, this is a stylized portrait here in Illustrator as well, along with the additional ones here. Oh, this was done in Photoshop and using textures to create this look. And you can see this has this construction here with particular types of patterns here. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's pattern or if it is, so it says Joshua created this. And this assignment was done in Photoshop, and it had to do with humanizing characters. So I was wondering, maybe I should pause for a minute to find out if the audience has any questions.
Sure, we can do that. Let me double check the chat here. All right, let's see. I see where everyone's from. That's great. So yeah, I don't see any questions in the chat, but if anyone wants to unmute or type anything in now, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we can carry on. You could save your questions for later.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is by Jade Cohen, and she transferred to UC Berkeley. And Emily created this one. It was a portrait assignment in Illustrator. And Natalia, I don't think you did this. Another Natalia did this. And this was done in Illustrator. Again, it's related to portraiture. And I am not aware of who did this one, but you can see they used the subject matter of Twiggy and incorporated everything in there. So this definitely looks like it's been done in Illustrator. And when I looked at this, this was Jessica Pye, and it was a, what is it? The subject was dark, deep fear. And for those who are being squeamish, it's sort of like, I think she's strangling somebody. And this was by Ryan Hare. Oh, sorry. And this was by Sean Finn, a self-portrait. So I was wondering, oh, so right here, this is Joanna. That's all I know about this particular, it's basically the person that created this. So I was wondering if we could move forward and then I could jump to a different area later on and come back. Is that possible?
Sure.
Because you know, right now, because right now we have, as you know, I have the potential of like 135 images, and I don't think
it's got a lot of material, guys.
Yeah, so I kind of want to take breaks here and make it, you know, maybe we can come back and forth with this.
Yeah.
To what's going on.
That sounds good.
Okay, so let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead to your, oh, you don't need to stop sharing though.
Oh.
You could advance if you want to your later slides.
Yeah.
And then I could talk about how we've been pivoting also.
Let's backtrack a little bit here. So you can see that this was a type assignment. Here we go. I'm just trying to get to some other things in here. This theme was about, my understanding is this was actually during the pandemic, to where instead of creating an album cover, you had to show the environment where the album would be located. In this particular case, the theme in this student's work was New York. And this was all created in Photoshop, but none of it, the reference was they probably found a photograph, but they never used any part of that photograph to create all this. This was all created by textures and shapes, and to create the contour and everything, reflections and everything was all done just in Photoshop, but not using any other images. And done again and made look photorealistic. I believe this is Illustrator. So I'm going to move forward to, let's say, well, this is an assignment related to a public service. And of course, this has to do with COVID-19. This happened mid-semester in the spring. This, I'm not sure about this student.
But you can see that's a poster that was for Amador Valley High School, it looks like.
Oh, sorry.
So you can see they do posters for different events and for different institutions as well, for other schools. And the next one looked like for a festival.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking here on another screen, and I can jump back to some slides related to type. Let's see. So, done in Illustrator. Looks like balloons. And let's go show number 80. So this was done in Illustrator, and everything was created to make it look photorealistic. as was this as well. And here is a illustration by Quan. And on number 84, we have a three-dimensional perspective here, architectural rendering of a house. Should I say of a building? And number 91, this is by Ryan Higgins. This is his creation here. I know, basically he was in my class. Of course, I forgot what the assignment was, but he did an incredible job here. So let me jump to the end. Right here. So this is what we have in our department here. We're using Adobe Creative Cloud, we're using Acrobat, Illustrator, Photoshop, and of course web technology applications as well, such as Dreamweaver, and we have other animation programs in there for print and online. And so we have a computer lab with 2 overhead projectors, 2 projection screens, 35 plus Apple iMac computers with large Wacom Cintiq Pro tablets. And we have the Splashtop remote control software that allows us, for students that have problems related to actually having the software or the hardware, to actually access our lab remotely and use the computers inside of the lab, even though we're under COVID lockdowns right now. So Liz, any other thing to add here? I'm sorry, we're going to go on.
Yeah. I noticed my slide got skipped over earlier, the COVID pivoting one.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. That was near the top 10 reasons.
The top 10 reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, again, if this sparks any questions in anyone, feel free to type in the chat. I know I've been letting folks in from the waiting room too as we've been proceeding here. If you want to say hi in the chat and ask any questions, though, you're certainly welcome to.
Are you talking about slide number 5?
I think so. I think that sounds right. No, so it was the one after that.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, it got skipped earlier. So yeah, so it's nice that Michael's touched on a few things that we've been doing to adapt to COVID-19 SIP. So you probably heard that during the spring semester of this year, we moved into an online format. We started out the semester in person and then things changed around March, right? And then the summer, things were online. This semester, things have been online, and then springtime, it'll be online as well. But we've been able to do a lot within those constraints, so that makes us happy. We are following guidance from our county and our district office, and as you guys know, you heard about the county guidance that just came down. So things are moving back a little bit. Current semester, we are doing the classes online, like I said, with very limited opportunities to come to campus. For example, if you needed to develop something in the photo lab, some of our graphic design students also take photo classes. For example, there are limited in-person hours for the photo lab, so you could still get things developed, or you could check out camera loan or anything that you needed. We also offer tech loans through the library, like if you needed a laptop or a Wi-Fi hotspot, we could get those in your hands for free. Additionally, our students are using Splashtop, as Michael mentioned, so that's very helpful that they can still access the software from home.
It's
And then-
incredibly unique,
Yeah,
you know,
so
to have
you can
that
say more about
available.
that.
Well, essentially, you're actually using software that will control a computer in our lab, which is amazing. You're not stepping into the lab, but you're actually using one of the computers in there. Of course, the limitation has to do with bandwidth, so it's not going to react as if you had a computer in front of you. It's going to work a lot slower.
Right.
But
it is nice to be able to have that for sure.
Yes.
And then again, I said in spring, we're going to be mostly online with those few exceptions that I mentioned. Some student services are limited in person too. You know, you could get your student ID in person, do curbside pickup at the bookstore, the library, different things like that. Student services are mainly online, including counseling, mental health services, tutoring. We have Smart Shop workshops that teach you a lot about, you know, how to write an essay, how to do research and not plagiarize, and how to navigate certain majors, how to work on your CSU or UC application, variety of different topics, financial aid also, and financial wellness. And then we just had our first virtual club fair. That was really exciting. Like I said, we've got over 30 student clubs and many are still very active. Our student government is as well. So that's really exciting. And you can see a picture over here that was shared by the photography program. So they had a virtual gallery in the springtime. So that was really exciting. You can, you know, walk down the hallway there and check out all these different pieces. So we're finding different tools to help us still display our students' work. And I'll talk about some more events later at the end that are coming up. We're excited to continue having, you know, content and opportunities to engage with the community. All right, you can skip back ahead there, Michael.
Let's go see where we're heading here, since I'm looking at my other screen. As I said, I have a lot of images in here.
Well, it's just
Okay.
a testament to our students' awesome work. You wanted to just share it all, I know.
Yeah, I wanted to share it all, but of course, you know, I already know the limitations of, you know, what we're capable of doing within this short period of time. Okay, so we're going to slide 131. Oh, we've already seen that, so it's the next slide.
Yeah, and then this is just a quick snapshot for the program and club activities. So there are a couple clubs and resources on campus connected to graphic design and digital media and some of our other art-related majors. So you can see here the Art and Design Club, they are definitely still active. I know they just had a guest speaker yesterday that was actually one of our graphic design digital media students, Jay Sarkis, spoke about watercolors. He dabbles, a number of our art, you know, creative students dabble in various different media. And so, yeah, they are still continuing to meet virtually. And then the design shop has done a number of different projects. I would say especially posters for like Las Positas College theater events. We normally have 4 plays a year. And so we always have to create the marketing materials around those. So they've done some really beautiful work. And other things for, I feel like you shared the one for Amador Valley High School. That was probably through the design shop. So it feels like a lot of posters, you know, it's just kind of a pro bono way for students to get their feet wet and actually listen to what a client wants, right?
Exactly.
And produce something. Yep. So that's
because
quite cool.
yeah, when you're under that particular environment, obviously you become aware of the social skills involved, the soft skills involved in communicating with a client, you know, which is real important as basically a designer.
Exactly right. And as you can see, yeah, events and activities are an important part of this experience, and adjusting to the distance ed model hasn't stopped us from offering fun and interesting content. So we've got exhibitions coming up, and Art and Design Club has had speakers and artists and different workshops. And yes, I this week was literally just there with students from photography and graphic design, digital media out at Kuta Ridge Gallery in their tasting room. They are displaying their work, 4 of our students from November through January. So if you get a chance to swing by Kuta Ridge, check that out. We're trying to get a reception going too, where we would have a student music ensemble play as well. But as you know, we're back in the purple zone now, so stay tuned on that aspect. All right.
I believe I have another example of when you were talking about posters. I went and looked it up, and
Sure.
let's go check. I'm sorry.
Right.
Let's go check slide 44, I believe.
Good one.
So yes, it's a math jam.
And Math Jam is a great event, by the way. That's pivoting online too, actually. So that's really exciting. This is something that helps students with, get up to speed on their math skills. So excellent event, always very highly applauded. Just one more thing that Las Positas offers.
Okay, so let's jump.
All right, fantastic. And then we'll shuffle on over to that student panel slide, and we will meet our panelists.
There we go.
All right, fantastic. All right, so I'll let you take turns introducing yourselves. I don't think our last panelists ended up joining us, but that's okay. So go ahead, Natalia, please introduce yourself and maybe just say a few words like your name, major, year, if you're in school at all anymore, your year, like what town you're at, whatever you want to say, just a few quick tidbits about yourself.
Hi, my name is Natalia, and I graduated at Las Positas with AA degree in graphic design this spring 2020, and I've been studying there for 4 years.
Great. And then Arpana, if you want to share.
Yes. Hi, my name is Arpana Kanu. I'm from Pleasanton. Currently, I have not taken class for this year since the pandemic, but I'm planning to not the spring, but a fall of 2021. I have taken, I would say, at least few classes pretty close for the certification of graphic design. I took this as just wanted to do something different. I currently work as a part-time as a AR for a B2B company. I'm also volunteering for a startup company of a friend. It's in a stealth mode, doing a project management for her. And recently joined as a Toastmasters for a club here, and it seems to be very interesting. It is challenging, but it's very interesting. But I do want to get into graphic, just only not for career-wise, but also I found that it's more relaxing and very fun. So I do here and then some photo manipulation for my friends' pictures, like old pictures, some tone pictures, black and white pictures. So try to edit them and get it manipulated so it looks nice. So that's what I'm doing with Photoshop a lot, doing the photo manipulation for my friends. That's about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Jennifer, it looks like wasn't able to join us today, but she is on Naked Magazine staff. That's one of our student publications. She's fantastic. Maybe we could get a video from her later. I could share the questions with her and maybe we could attach that. And when we put this up on the website, we could add that video or something, figure it out. All right, anyways, I'm so glad that Natalia and Arpana were able to join us. All right, so on to the questions. So what skills do you have or have you been working on in this program?
So
whatever order you guys want to go in.
Oh, sorry. Can I go first? So
yeah,
the skills like branding, color theory, and typography that we learn in the program is very important for the rest of the work that we do.
I did Illustrator and InDesign too. So I did a small project here. It's just again a volunteering for a Girl Scout, a small flyer using InDesign. Yes, I also did typography, color theory. So did learn something about color theory. In fact, I used those terms, complementary colors and other hues, as a part-time teacher when before the pandemic. I used to teach art for the after-school hours. And so it was so much fun for me to teach them the actual term that is used in color theory for the kids from the age 6 to 11, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So I used Illustrator too. And like I said, I did more Photoshop because for the photo manipulation. Yeah. So all the classes that LPC has been offering has been useful for me so far.
Oh, I have a question. If I remember correctly, Natalia, last year, weren't you working with restaurants and creating websites for them, or was that 2 years ago? I can't recall.
Oh yeah, no, I still like I create a website for them, and I still do like some Facebook advertisement. Yeah.
So, and of course, you learned how to work with web design in my class. And
Yes, I learned the HTML and also WordPress, but I've been using WordPress more because it's faster, and then I could make more websites with the WordPress.
yes,
Yes, it's very useful.
it's very
So
useful, WordPress.
yes, very useful.
And we teach it, of course, at the college in our
Yes.
department.
Also, I took UI UX design with Michael. Also, it helps you when you're building websites because you know where the things goes, where the best place to put the buttons and the clicks. It's very useful too.
Yeah, and you're basically with UX UI design, you are trying to find out what the user needs and prefers versus actually the designer.
Yes.
So a lot of interviewing, a lot of surveying to find out what the end user is looking for, whether it be a website or whether it be a product of any sort.
Great follow-up, Michael. Thank you so much for that question, and Natalia for sharing that additional experience. Fantastic. It's great to hear the real world applications too, definitely. So describe your hands-on experience in this program that mirrors the workplace. That's a nice segue into that. So you can think about anything you've done in the classroom or any internships that you've done on the program, anything related workplace and what you've learned in this program, the connections there.
I think the design shop is really helpful because it looks like that you work in a real workplace because you have deadlines, you need to talk with the clients, you need to manage the other students as the designers. So it's really important to do this class, the design shop.
Arpana, did you have anything to add?
No, I like I said, I think I must have briefly mentioned that I did started with design shop, but then I had to drop it off for some other reasons. But I did, like Natalia mentioned about how with the design shop, it's like in real world. Definitely a good program, but heads up is that you may want to have a lot of other program in your hand already done in order to do the design shop, like you're very good at photoshopping, Illustrator, or even InDesign, like any logos or anything. So definitely I think that program is good, but didn't work out for me, unfortunately. But yeah, and like I said in the previously that I did use color theory. That came into hands-on because I used the color wheel when I was teaching the kids about the art. So yes, it was pretty good.
Yeah, so the design shop essentially should be the last class you're taking because it's the accumulation of your knowledge to be used within the design shop to be able to communicate with the client, and when the client's communicating with you to be able to impart that information to the rest of the designers in your production group.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Along with a portfolio class as well. So those would probably be the last two classes you'd want to take.
Okay, true.
Right, great, thank you. So what are you most proud of? Any particular projects or awards, current jobs or leadership roles, any of those special projects you had mentioned earlier? Anything you're proud of that relates to this world?
Yeah, I'm proud of like getting real clients and be able to use all the things that I learned at the college and do my work outside, you know.
Yeah, like I said that I just started for a startup, which is a stealth mode. So it's that's why I said volunteering, because uh, she hasn't formed a team. It's all virtual right now, but it's an IT company. But then my role came into as a project management. So I did give some more suggestions for her if she's starting a company, her logo, and so I gave her some ideas. So did felt like I play a role for what I've learned so far from Photoshop, Illustrator, or even I think web design too, if you want to create a website, although I'm not that uh, much familiar more about it, but did give my feedback to her. So she's still working on the company itself. So just a rough idea about her logo. So I felt good. Okay, yeah, my feedback was appreciated. So yes.
Great, thank you so much. And finally, what do you plan to do in the future? Any upcoming internships, jobs, transfer to a four-year? Any other jobs you're seeking or any particular work you want to get into? Feel free to share.
I want to work as a UI UX designer in the future, but meanwhile I do freelancing because of the COVID, but I want to work in a company.
All the best, Natalia. I'm still in a floating position right now because I still feel that I need to do some more courses, like a design shop. I need to do it again, and probably the portfolio too. I don't know if I really want to make it as a career, but I did enjoy the classes, so I might do it as a freelancing to start with. And since my career is kind of deviated right now into project management, but I would definitely like to see if I get an opportunity. Yes, I will take the opportunity to go into any visual design or any kind of graphic design. Yes.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing. All right, I want to open it up to questions now. If anybody has any questions for any of our panelists, you can unmute yourself and ask now if you want to, or you could drop the question into the chat and I could read it aloud for you. I saw a comment earlier that I didn't read, but Arpana said in the chat, it was a fun class. I can't remember which one she was talking about. Michael helps us understand about photography too. Did you want to say a little bit more about that, Arpana or Michael?
Yes, it's the Photoshop 2 class that I took with Michael, and like he shared one of the work of mine where it's myself and with the other thing around it. Uh, so what I like the fact what you're not just taking your own picture like you already have it existing somewhere in the desktop or a hard copy. He actually included everybody, made us participate to go like there's a virtual studio, not a virtual, but the real studio kind of feel where you need to do. So if you happen to do something for real, even for a photographer, then if you want to do something different for an image, then you take your own image by clicking it, and then to make it to realistic, you blend with something, or it can be just a photo, a family photo, it can be just any poster or anything. So I thoroughly enjoyed that class. So that's what I said, that when Michael made us go to the photo studio and take the picture, and even in fact explain. I never took photography class, and not great at taking pictures either, so never had an idea about light colors and dark colors and shades, and how it reflects. I'm sorry, Michael, I'm already forgetting the terms that you used in the photo photography class. But yes, that's what I meant, that I enjoyed thoroughly in that class.
Well, it's sort of like air, light, where it's around you and you take it for granted, but you don't, most people don't really analyze it and try to figure out like, oh, there's an action reaction to what's going on, or the difference between direct sunlight, let's say, versus an overcast day and how the light looks in relationship to that. So that's sort of what I was explaining there.
Thanks so much for saying more about that. Folks have any questions at all about any of the classes or any of the pieces we've shown? Or I've got a couple more slides to share. I can just tell you what's coming up on campus, but no questions. We just did a great exhaustive job, I guess. You are still welcome to reach out to us. There is a contact slide, so you guys can get a shot of that later if you wanted to follow up with myself or Michael. Always happy to answer questions. So yeah, if the panelists have nothing else to add right now, we can wrap up with those last couple slides and double check to see if there are any questions. Yeah. All right.
No.
Covered that. There weren't any questions.
Weren't any questions.
That's okay. Yep, okay. There's our contact info. So yeah, you're welcome to reach out to us on email. That's really the best way right now. We are working remotely, so there you go.
You had a statement?
You want to say something? Okay.
Somebody had put a question in the chat by Daryl, asking, do you guys get creative any the software with your own ideas? Yes, of course, you can do anything you want to if you have the software. With my personal experience, Daryl, I completely feel that it's practice, more practice. And I see that because I'm a henna artist, and the more I practice, I do it on objects and sometimes on myself. The more you practice, the more you get better. I guess it's same with the software that you want to use. You just play around. You don't know where it will take you. I hope I answered your question, Daryl.
Yeah, I think it's good when you research a lot and then you do your sketches and then create. The research is very important too.
Yeah, that's the other way is you create yourself on a rough paper. You can take a picture and then upload it on Photoshop, Illustrator. You can work on that and play on that too.
Oh, one thing I wanted to comment, so obviously being in class, you get different perspectives by the rest of the students and the instructor as well. So therefore, sometimes when you're working on a project and you're kind of isolated, you don't necessarily see what other people are seeing. So it really helps being in a classroom to open your eyes to other people's viewpoints on what you're creating and whether that message, and that's what it comes down to, is the message coming across related to, what you're putting out as, artwork.
Oh, I see there's a question. Would you guys say that breaking out in the graphic design industry is challenging?
Well, we live in the Bay Area, so guess what? Technology is, in its very nature, you have people that have an incredible amount of skills, and it is challenging like anything else, especially in this area because of that.
Did anyone else want to add to that?
I guess I have a bit of a comment more than a question.
Oh, sure. Summer, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so I'm personally a business major actually, but I found your whole presentation very interesting and I enjoyed it because I think that this is so versatile, like so many people can use it. Like, as you guys were saying, like I was thinking about it and, for marketing or for anything, even it's like even a field like business could use something like this so much. And it's just overall, it just really is eye-catching the more you are good at stuff like this, and you can use it for marketing and you can use it for yourself. So it was pretty interesting. Even if you're not even in the field or in the major, you could still use it for like everyday life.
Samra, you bring up a great point. Thanks so much for chiming in. I wanted to mention that at one of our graphic design advisory board meetings, there was a student there that I was really intrigued by. So he's got a bachelor's degree in business, and now he's working on his graphic design digital media degree with us. So you do see cases like that. There's definitely overlap between the business world and graphic design. You know, marketing totally makes sense. You're exactly right. And I really appreciate your interest in our program, and I hope that you'll touch base with us and explore more.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Of course. All right, let me double check the chat here. Oh yeah, Daryl was just following up. I'm looking to become an animator and possible character designer or graphic designer in the future. Any additional advice based on that information, Michael?
Well, I know that we use, well, they definitely, what is it? One of the reasons, well, Adobe is known basically using Illustrator for animation, and they also have Adobe products within their suite that would cover that. I'm not sure if we're teaching or not. It would be great basically to contact Peter, because he would be the person that would be well aware of, you know, what our future classes are going to be.
I can always put you in contact with Peter. Here's the best contact information right here. That's me and Michael. You know us now, right? From this this presentation. So I will connect you with Peter if anybody would like. Thanks
Unless
so much
Peter's
for the
checked
question.
back in, you never know.
Peter's a busy guy.
And that's why you have me now.
Well, you know, we've got a good team here, you guys. And then here's a few more links we wanted to share too, just more about the program, about the design shop. And then we've got this whole program booklet that I believe Peter created several years back. Very informative, 20+ pages. There's a lot in there. It's a little booklet I would normally hand out if I were tabling at community events, but yes, it's nice. It's in a digital format now. All right, so in the interest of time, let's advance our last couple slides there. Okay, so other upcoming events. Have we got events, people? Yes. So we're really excited that we are continuing to create content, you know, for folks that are students, are prospective students, or community members, you know. In the before time when we would have plays at the theater, like I mentioned, we would have 4 plays a year. So there were a number of community members that would attend all of our plays, get season tickets, come to our concerts, come to our lecture series, and so on. But anyways, it's nice that we offer a lot of these things virtually now. So you can see coming up in November and December, we've got a couple artist lecture series happening. Those will be Lauren Zapo and Crystal Gwen. So that's really exciting. There's more information on the next slide that we'll share with you in a minute if you want to do a screenshot of that. And then in November to January, there's that photography and graphic design exhibit and sale that I mentioned at Cooter Ridge. So the students exhibiting with that are super excited. We've got some kind of veterans who have done this quite a bit. And then we have somebody who's not even old enough to drink yet displaying, and really exciting that, you know, she got to do this and put alongside, you know, her fellow students that are, you know, older or retirees or have been in the business or came back to, you know, take some classes to be skills builders. So really, we do have students all across the board, age and experience wise. And then December 5th, I'm really excited to be a part of this. It's a drive-through Santa experience and definitely a socially distanced event, and it's sold out, you guys. But you know, maybe you know someone who's going and you could join their car. I don't know. It's, you know, everybody's in their car. They sold tickets, you know, by the carload, and we'll just have a bunch of different booths, a bunch of different vendors, and be waving. And I'll have a dozen theater students rotating with me, dressed in their theater gear and elf hats. And our theater lead faculty and director, Tish and Lish, will be with us too. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there will be goodie bags, and we'll have some swag in there and candy canes and whatnot. And then let's see, monthly we have something called the Market, which is a drive-through currently food distribution market. So community members are welcome to come to that, is my point. The weather canceled this month. It would have been earlier this week, but typically it is a monthly event. So the next one will be December 15th if everything goes according to plan. So it is nice that we have these different resources to offer to the community. All right, any more questions about that? Any of those things, you're welcome to reach out to me. And final slide here. All right, here are just a few of those flyers. Oh yeah, Year to Career is coming up as well. I've got a speaking part and I will be co-hosting a roundtable, I believe, at that event. We just had this Year to Career event several weeks ago and it went very well. It was a partnership with our sister college and the district office. Our sister college is Chabot College. So we talked all about programs that you can study and earn a certificate in 1 year and be ready to go right in the workplace. So a lot of what we talked about today, you know, kind of takes 2 years to do. If you have less time, you might be interested in one of the 1 year routes. I invite you to come to all of our events, you guys. Get well educated, see what your options are. And there's a artist lecture series screenshot there. And then that's our flyer for the student art exhibit at Cooter Ridge there. So any final questions, final thoughts from anyone? I know that was a lot to take in. Good job, everybody. I appreciate everyone's patience and yeah, you guys are awesome. I'm so excited that so many people are interested in joining in today. So yeah. Oh, drive-through Santa experience sounds fun. Yeah, I know. I'm psyched about it. Can you tell I'm really excited to get out there and do a socially distant in-person thing? As an outreach specialist, I'm used to going out to high schools, classrooms and adult schools and out to community events. So these little chances that come up, I get really excited about.
Thank you, Liz. Michael.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
Arpana,
Well, everybody,
Natalia.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
be safe and well, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us again and happy Thanksgiving. And
Thank
if you have any questions, do reach out to us. All right. Take care.